Okay guys, in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how you can make a game inside Roblox Studio. Not only will I be teaching you how you can make a game inside Roblox Studio, but I'm also going to be showing you how to install it, even the basics of the actual. I'm even going to be showing you how you can actually use all the tools inside Roblox Studio. This is part 1 out of however many parts there are. I'll show you a little bit of scripting in this part, but not too much. We're not gonna get into that advanced stuff. Look, okay, so first thing you're gonna want to do is go to the Roblox website. You have to have a PC for this, and you're gonna have to search up create.roblox.com. And this, let me just delete this right here. So you want to go to this right here, create.roblox.com, and then you can install Roblox Studio from here. After you install Roblox Studio, you should have it somewhere on your desktop. You're just going to want to open it and sign in. Now that you have signed in, the first thing you're going to want to, the first thing you're going to see are all of these. Now, these aren't very good. The best one in here is this one, which they just came out with, which is a really cool thing that you can mess around with. That is lots of buildings, lots of stuff. But right now, you're going to want to be focusing on one of these. The difference between both of these is that one, the floor, the base plates, and the lighting in this one is better. So for now, we're just going to be starting with the old classic base plate, because it's just simple and easy to start with, and it's not too complicated. So the first thing we're going to be creating is an obby, because this is a really good thing to start out with. You don't have to script much, you don't have to do much at all. Now you can see the setup I have right now. I have the properties, which you can move around. You can dock like this. I like having mine right here. I think it's very organized and very easy. The first thing we're gonna go with, or first thing I'm gonna teach you, are the controls. So W, A, S, and D to move like normal. You can also use arrow keys, but no one really uses arrow keys. That's just the movement. You can scroll to move to as well. Now the first thing I want to show you is this. This is called the Explorer, and it holds everything that you use. Everything. Workspace all the way to this. I'm not even sure what this is, if I'm being honest. Now, the first thing you're going to want to learn is Workspace. If you don't know what Workspace is, it holds everything inside of it, including this itself, the base plate. So we're going to scroll back in, and this, so if we hit part right here, we'll spawn in a part right in front of you, and you'll see that it goes inside Workspace. Now if we put this inside any one of these, it's going to disappear because it doesn't exist in Workspace. In order for something to exist physically, it has to be inside Workspace. I'll tell you guys about the other things soon, but for now you're just going to want to focus on Workspace. Now you can, if you click a part and look in properties, you can see these. This changes the color, brick color. This is a more advanced option right here, color. You can change to the exact color that you want. Cast shadow just turns off the shadow. It's not really that useful, but some people will use it. Material is just the material we have. If we set it to leafy grass, it'll be that. For now, you're probably just gonna want to smooth plastic with plastic. I prefer smooth plastic because it's smooth. Material variant, you shouldn't have to worry about this yet. This is just a more advanced option. Reflectant is reflectant. It reflects the sky. Not the floor or anything, but it reflects the sky, which is kind of cool. We'll keep it off though. Transparency is pretty self-explanatory. You can change it up to 1. The higher the number is, the more transparent it is. Now, some of you can look through these to find out what they are. Size just shows the size, it's pretty obvious. Position, same thing, it shows the position. As you can see, when we move this, the position changes. If we go down to collision, You can see this is a pretty obvious one as well. If you check mark that, you can see that well, you can't see, but it has no collision now. Now another thing I want to show you guys is right here. This is called anchor. If you don't know what anchor does, it makes something not move unless coded to move. If we have this unanchored, it can be moved, says physics. But if we just anchor it, it now cannot move whenever we play. So if we were to make a little box like this and hit play, as you can see, we cannot move it at all whatsoever. But if we go ahead and select it and hit unanchor, we can move it now because it has physics, it can move. If we anchored it again, you can't move it. If we go down here and turn off collision, we can now walk through it. Turn it back on, we can now not walk through it. You don't have to worry about more of these are more advanced and not as helpful. No, they're helpful, but they're not as helpful as that. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys are the tools right here. These, you would not be able to make things work. They would not work. Nothing would work because you can't do anything. So, move moves it. Select is that you can drag it and select it. Scale is scale it. Pretty obvious. Rotate is rotate. I can show you how to change the amount of rotation you have on this later. Collisions. Now this is like, say we try to push this down through the ground, we can't. And that's because we have collisions on right here. Now if we turn that off, we can now push it down through the ground like that. Join surfaces is pretty obvious. It just joins the surface like that. That little white line you see, it just joins it. We're gonna have collisions on for now, just so it's easier to move stuff. Now we're gonna make a little platform. Just like that. And now we're gonna click it, hit Material Manager, and now it's gonna pop up somewhere, most likely at the bottom. You can change it to whatever material you wish, but the one I'm gonna be changing it to is smooth plastic. It's just smooth and I like it. You can also change the color a lot faster with this, so I can change it to this color if I want, but for now I'll just keep it at this color. Next thing you're going to want to learn is deleting stuff. There's two main ways you can delete stuff, and that's by selecting something that you want to delete, and you can click backspace, or you can click del for delete. Just like that. And now we want to anchor this so that this doesn't fall out of the sky. So right like that, it won't fall in the sky. But you'll see, if we play, we'll just fall. We'll fall. We don't spawn on it. And how do we fix that? That's very easy to fix. All you have to do is go to this model tab and click this called spawn. This is where the player spawns. Like this is just where the player spawns when they first load in. So if we hit play now, we now spawn in. Just like that. Very simple, very easy. The next thing I'm going to be showing you is the toolbox. Now, before I show you this, I just want to tell you the toolbox is dangerous because people can upload viruses, or not actual viruses, but they can ruin your game. It's called like hidden scripts. So I wouldn't recommend just using it unless you're using the default Roblox things inside the toolbox. And some things inside the toolbox are just random. Some of them are helpful, some of them just are random and useless. So let's see, let's just find something that's useless. For example, this gray ball, it's useless because you can make that yourself and you don't need that. It doesn't have any scripts in it. That means it's safe. But I would not use the toolbox unless you're really desperate. or something that you can't do, for example scripting, but I'm going to be teaching you a little bit of scripting at the end of this. So like I said, we're going to be making an obby, right? So we're going to make, okay, let's turn off collision so we don't, every time we duplicate. So I'm going to show you how to duplicate stuff. So you can either hit Control C, Control V, or the easy way, just Control D. And then you can move it, and it will just move it out of it, just like that. So now we can scale this to make it more like a part, smaller part, like this. We can even color if we want, just like that. And now we can move it like that. And now we can get ourselves a little part like that. Make sure all of this is anchored, by the way. As you can see, all of it's anchored. So this next part we will be using the toolbox, so since you don't know how to script yet, most likely. So we're gonna search up checkpoint, just like that, inside models. Checkpoint for obby, just like that. Checkpoint for obby. Now sometimes it doesn't appear in the right location. It's really, you can just click it once and it should appear in front of you. Just like that. We'll move it, and then we'll look inside of this just to see. You can click scripts. This is just scripts. There's nothing wrong with the scripts. No virus or anything. A lot of the time there's no viruses in things, but sometimes there is, and that can get you banned if you didn't know. So we hit play. Okay, we spawn at the spawn, and when we run over to this, which we don't die because we can just walk over it, we step on this. Now we have a checkpoint. Now there's no notification or anything showing you that you stepped on the checkpoint like most obbies, but if we jump off into the void, we will spawn back at the checkpoint, or we should at least. As you can see, we spawned at the smaller one, which is the checkpoint, which means this works. Okay, now that we have our checkpoint done, we can now make a new obstacle for us. So this time, we're going to be using the rotation. So we're going to duplicate this by clicking Control D. We're going to rotate it, just like that. And then we're going to scale it upwards, like that. And then we're going to color it, what color? Like reddish. And then we're going to Control D, rotate it. If you hit Control L, it will make the axis normal and not local, just like that, which is very helpful. And just like that, we have a little ramp, but we'll separate it just to make it have like a jump, and then we'll do this a few times by dragging over it like that, and then clicking Control D. So we'll do that like 3 times, and then we'll select all of these and then drag it over, and now we have our new obstacle. Now, next thing I want to show you is the model tab. I haven't really showed you too much. You don't want to mess with transform. I barely even know what that does, if I'm being honest. Now rotate and move. Now I have my move on 0.25. I think the default is 1, but I'm not sure. But if you change this to like 5, then you'll move by 5 studs every time, just like that. So I'm going to change this to 0.5. So 0.5, 0.5. The rotate, I can change this to like 10, just so it's simpler. And now you can also add another part in here. If you click down on this little arrow, it will show you other parts you can spawn in, which are pretty cool. Not really. Now, say on this one we want to add an effect. We can click this and add what like particle emitter, just like that. And now it's just you can see that the particle emitter, instead of going inside Workspace, it goes inside the object. That's because, yeah, it's the object. It's going inside. It's kind of hard to explain, not really. You just have to get the gist of it, I guess. Now I'm going to show you what this does. This you don't really need to mess with too much when you're starting. It's just, you can add springs and ropes. And it's simple, but you just need to learn it. We'll actually we'll make something real quick out of it. We'll do this, and then we'll scale this like this. We'll make a little bridge, and then since we're going to be connecting this with the ropes, we're going to unanchor it because it's going to be connected to something that's already anchored. So we're going to do this. We're going to separate it, and then we're going to add another thing right here, and then we're going to go to this, click rope, and then when you click rope, you need to also click create after. Like, wait, what the heck? Create rope. Wait, okay, you just need to click something after. I don't use this that much, so you just need to click create again. Do that, and we're just gonna attach all these. Also, if you're wondering why my glow around everything is red, that's because you can change that inside the settings, which I can show you later. Okay, now that we did that, we can now check. All of these are unanchored, but the ones the main points that they're connected to are anchored. So instead of, let's say we don't want to do all this parkour, and we just want to skip over here as the creator, we can go to home. We can click this little arrow, click play here. This will play in the position that our camera is. So as you can see, it's in the position, and our little bridge. It's a little finicky because Roblox physics, but it's a bridge. Okay, the next tab I'm going to be showing you is avatar. This also has all the tools inside of it. It also has collisions and join surfaces and rotate and move. If you, it also has this. I wouldn't mess with this or any of these. This is an animation editor for making animations. I can show you that in a new tutorial if you guys want to see a new tutorial. This is test. This is if you want to test with multiple players, with 2 players. I wouldn't recommend using this if you have a slow computer, or it might freeze it, might crash it, so I wouldn't recommend using that if you have a slow computer. If you click device, you can click this right here. You can change, like I say, iPhone 7 Plus. This is really good for messing with GUI, which is UI. If you go to view, this sort of, so if you click this Explorer, it will add Explorer back in. If you click properties, it will add that back in. This are a few other things. If you click output, we'll add this little bottom thing, which I'm going to show you at the end of the video what it does and how it's helpful. Full screen is full screen, screenshot is screenshot, video record is record, wireframe rendering is just, I don't really get why they added this, but if you click it, it does this. If you go to plugins, as you can see, I have a lot of plugins. If you don't know how to get plugins, you can just go to the toolbox and then go to plugins, and then you can find a plugin. A lot of them cost Robux, but some of them are free and they work very well. Which I think, is this free right now? Actually, I don't know. So some of them are expensive. Some of them are free and very helpful. Example of one that's free is gap fill. So if you go and search up gap fill inside plugins, gap fill, this one right here, gap fill. If you click it, hit install, and then we'll click that, go back into plugins, and it will be somewhere inside here. Now, if you click on that plugin, we'll do this. It'll pop up the little GUI, and something that this one does is, say we want to fill these 2 gaps. we can fill this and this, and we'll fill the gap. It does this sometimes, but it's not that big of a deal. We'll do this on like this one. It can be very helpful when you're filling in bigger gaps. So we'll do this. It's pretty cool, pretty helpful. I would definitely recommend using it. Now that's it for most of the tabs, most of the stuff inside the tabs. Another thing I want to show you is AI. I want to show you guys AI. So let's say we get another one of these as like a little thing that you can jump on, and we want to go to material generator. This can generate you AI things that, like, you can have materials like this, but it makes them for you. So let's say you try to type in what rocky stone, okay, and hit generate. It's loading. Okay, it generated rocky stone. That's actually not that bad of a one. Not that bad. So we can make it bigger, studs per tile, and smaller. We'll do like that. Set and apply variants. Oh yeah, okay, so you need to set a base material. We're just gonna do cobblestone. Okay, and now it's set to that. It's really cool. It's very helpful when you're making like. It's usually helpful with stuff like well, it's helpful. It can be very helpful. Also, make sure this is anchored. Always make sure it's anchored. Now this next thing we're gonna do is gonna be a little bit different than all the other objects, and that's one of those things where you can fall through it. So you do like one of those. So we'll have a blue one, and we'll also have a red one, and the red one will turn collision off, so you'll fall through it, and the other one will not have collision off. And then we'll set that, and that will be the end of our obby thing. And to make it look like it's the end, I guess, we can make this green. Boom, green. We can also mess with the particle effects inside of it, which you can do. So if we set that to green, boom, it's cool, isn't it? And you just made yourself an obby. Now, before you leave, we're gonna do a little bit of scripting, just a little bit. It's gonna be very simple. I just want to show you some, and yeah. So first thing we're gonna want to do, I need to show you, is you're gonna scroll over all of this and hit Control G. What this does is groups it into a model, and then you just have way better organization. We're gonna name this obby, just like that. Okay, so it's way organized now. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna hit this little plus inside Workspace, and we're gonna search up script. So SCR, and it should pop up just like that. Now, if you're also wondering why everything is dark mode for me, that's also inside settings, which I will show you right after this. The first thing you're gonna want to do first is go to View and this little View tab. So View, and make sure Output. Make sure you have Output on, or you will not see what I'm about to show you. So we're gonna go back into the script by double clicking it, and then we're gonna do print. So what printing does is it prints. How to explain it is, so if we do print and then little quotate, I don't know what these are called. They're called something, these little things. It's next to the enter button. The double thing next to the enter button. You know what I'm talking about, okay? And we're gonna type in I was printed. I was printed. Okay, so make sure you have output, by the way, because whenever this command runs, which it will, no matter what, whenever we load in, it will say right here, I was printed. So whenever we hit play, make sure you go and hit play, normal play, not play here. Okay, let's see if it said I was printed. So right here it said I was printed. You can also scroll through this. So it says I was printed. So that was the first little script thing. And now let's see if we can beat this obby. And just like that, we beat it. The next thing I'm gonna show you guys is how to make your selection thing look cool like mine, and also how to go in dark mode in case you want to go inside dark mode. So you're gonna go to File up here in this little corner, then you're gonna go to Studio Settings, and now this is where you can change lots of stuff. So if you scroll down, you can see this right here, Theme Dark. So you have light mode and then you have dark mode. Mine is set to dark because it's better. Okay, it's better. Next thing we're gonna go to is rendering. I'm pretty sure. Is it? No. It's down here. It says Studio. So you can scroll down. You can do select color and then hover over color. You usually want the hover over color to be lighter than your original select color, so it actually looks like it's like glowing, which is really cool. And then active color is the most prime color. So mine's like the 255 right here. So that's the end of today's video, guys. If you did learn from this video, which I know you did, leave a like, because this took time to create, and also I don't get sleep.